Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the Burn Bootcamp podcast. My name is Devan Kline, and I'm excited that you're here. As always, thank you for being here. So much gratitude in my heart for you being a supporter of Burn Bootcamp and everything that we are up to. And listen, we create this podcast because we're committed to adding more value to your life than any other company on the planet. I'm talking about company. All right, we're coming for Apple. That's how much value that we want to add to your life. And we are on our way there. And the podcast is a vehicle that is helping us do so. And so today I want to talk about vision. I'm the visionary. So this is one of my bread and butter topics. And for me, it's very personal to me. And so I hope you don't mind me sharing a personal story with you. The real theme here is setting a vision to achieve your goals, right? First of all, we can talk about goals in a different setting, in a different podcast, but a lot of times goals become white noise because everybody says, set your goals, set your goals, set your goals, set your goals. And they say it so much that it's like, or it's like the teacher in Charlie Brown, right? You kind of like phase that out. And I know this to be true because when I go to crowds and I ask, hey guys, who in the crowd could show me your goals written down on paper right now? Listen, and if you raise your hand, I might call on you and ask you to show me, so don't lie, right? And so I kind of bounce the accountability ball in their court, and maybe about 2% of people will actually raise their hand and they are being honest with me. And I truly believe this, right? And I believe that if you don't have your goals written down, then you don't have goals. If you're not rehearsing your goals, you don't have goals. We'll talk about that more on a different episode, but to achieve to set a vision and to achieve the vision, you got to have some goals. But like, to me, this podcast is talking about the motivation on the way there, the inspiration on the way there. Once I set that goal, once I set that vision for myself, this is going to be hard. It's going to be long. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be a knockdown, drag out battle. It's going to be a dogfight. And if you're going to want to be successful, you better get ready to get into the middle of the ring, okay? Like a gladiator, because it is warfare sometimes. It really is. People, especially if you have business goals, right? If you have business goals or career goals, financial goals, everybody is your competitor, right? And nobody wants to take second place to you, okay? And so you've got to have a philosophy on how to stay motivated when you inevitably have the downturns of demotivation. And Stop Starting Over, my debut book that I self-published, which, by the way, thank you for all supporting it. There's a chart in there called motivation versus demotivation, and it shows the linear nature or the nonlinear nature, rather, of what it looks like to set and achieve goals. And it shows this kind of zigzag loopy pattern, but it shows it going up. It goes upward in an upward correlation. But if you zoom in, all right, to one of those downturns at the very demotivated period, that period of lack of inspiration, that time, even when you're successful, like even when you are achieving all of your goals, you still have those times when you're demotivated. That's never going to go away. So you have to have a mechanism. You have to have a strategy in order for you to move past those times of demotivation, because it's not about being demotivated or not. It's about cutting down the negative emotions or reducing the refraction of those negative emotions in the demotivated period so you can just get out of it quickly. Okay, I can get out of my demotivated periods in hours now, maybe even minutes with most things. It's not days. It used to be days. It actually used to be weeks. Okay? And this strategy I'm going to talk about with you right now is going to help you get there. It's called push and pull motivation. Most people talk about my pull motivation. And I define that as what's the thing in the future, that enchanting vision of your future when you set the goals that's going to pull you forward. It is inspiring, right? You keep using this business example. Let's say you're a business owner and you love dogs and you say, listen, my vision is I want to have 5 dog sitting businesses in, Charleston, South Carolina. And I want to make sure that all of the dogs that I love in my city have a place to go where their owners know, love, and respect me, and they know that I know, love, and respect them back. And through that, I will create financial wealth for myself and my family and do good by my community, okay? Compelling vision, right? Very compelling. I'm kind of motivated by that right now. But when the pandemic hits, or when the downturns in the market hit, or when it doesn't start as hot as you wanted it to, or when that very first one, month 2 isn't doing exactly what you wanted it to do, and you have the negative emotion associated with not being aligned to the blueprint that you set out for yourself, what are you going to do about it? That's my question for you. What are you going to do about it? Are you going to dwell? Are you going to sit there and be in your emotions and in your feels and come up with all the reasons why this has happened? Or are you going to use it? I call it use the anger, right? Like, are you going to use the anger to flip it and make your worst day your best day and start driving forward in your life? How are you going to use that time where you're not aligned to where you thought you were going to be? Such a powerful question, okay? And oftentimes, the motivation in the future, that pull motivation that I'm talking about, it is not strong enough. It's not strong enough. Why? Because we haven't quite experienced it yet. If you're really good at visualization, you can actually activate there's a system in our brain called the reticular activating system, or RAS. It's in our prefrontal cortex. And if you actually visualize, this is what people talk about when they say, hey, you should visualize because, things will come to reality. It's not esoteric. It's like science. Like they're not bullshitting you. You actually can put yourself in a position to experience things emotionally before they actually manifest themselves physically. But it's not as strong as what's happened to you already, what you already have experienced. Thus comes in the missing piece, the vast majority of inspiration and motivation to me, and how I cut down those times of demotivation isn't the pull of the future. It's not that enchanting vision. It's the push of the past. It's what I'm running away from. It's what I no longer want to achieve or see in my life. In fact, it's what I damn near absolutely refuse to accept. It's what I will not tolerate. It's what I'm not going to live with. Never, ever, ever, ever. I'd rather not even be here than have to go back to that. I'm not doing it. And I love my life and I'm going to live it up. You know what I mean? Like, that is real. For me, coming from a chaotic, abusive relationship with my parents, this is a place that I can just close my eyes and just think about one incident, and boom, I'm just flooded with positive emotion. There was a period of time when I was 12 years old and my father and we got in a fist fight. I was trying to protect my mother. They were fighting. He was abusing her. He's a big man. He was hurting her. I was 12. I was going through puberty. I wasn't going to dare step up to my father. At the previous times that he's done this, he started doing this as I was going through puberty. I got a little testosterone going. I tried to boss up, got my chest big, stepped in front of him. Bam. Next thing you know, I'm lights out. Cops are at my house. There's a child abuse charge filed, and the relationship with my father is tarnished now forever. He doesn't say sorry. He doesn't apologize. He doesn't make it better. He just wakes up the next day and says, Dev, I'd never do anything to hurt you. I'm like, okay, got it. 10-4. That moment when I woke up and I had an arm of an officer around me in a blanket sitting on my porch in Michigan, watching my dad get put in the back of a cop car. That visual for me, woo, that is motivation. I've experienced that. I got the chills right now. I've experienced it. And for that reason, there's nothing that can stop me from getting to the goals, to the visions that I've achieved for myself, because not only do I have this pull motivation, this enchanting vision of the future where there's a burn boot camp on every possible community. I've seen what it does for people, right? I feel like I'm robbing people of an opportunity to transform their life, to empower their family, to inspire their community if I don't give them an opportunity to come into the four walls of our gym and just feel the love of our community. You know what I mean? Like, that is my pull. That's my pull motivation. And then the byproduct to that pull motivation of doing those 10,000 locations is that financially changes my world, my life, my legacy for my children, so that they know that I broke the chain of poverty, that I'm the first to ever graduate from college in my family, that my father and his father before him were all alcoholics, and that I broke the chain and stepped up and did something incredible. And the look in their eyes when they're so proud of me for doing that, that's my That's my pull. Okay. But when it gets hard, right? When the pandemic hits or some, problem happens in the company and it disrupts that goal, that linear path to that goal, I don't get demotivated for more than a couple minutes because I know if I don't push through, if I don't become stronger than my toxic self-talk, if I don't become stronger than the way that I'm currently thinking right now, if I don't develop a stronger mindset, right, then I might go backward. There's a higher probability, a non-zero chance that I might end up being like that. And that just scares the hell out of me. And so I'm running from that constantly. I'm like, you can think about me just like as a visual of like I'm like a Forrest Gump visual, baby. I'm just going. Like I'll look behind. I'm looking behind me. I'm like, am I further away or am I closer? Right. And so for me, it's the pull motivation. It's the push motivation. The pull is about 30%. The push is about 70%. You need to have both of them together if you want to have a foundation for a strong mindset moving forward in your world. And today, that is the podcast. Let me know what you took away from this, okay, by commenting on social. You can comment on YouTube or on any social platforms. Also, go ahead and leave a review on podcasts too, because I love to hear from you guys on how my words affect your life, because I want to keep speaking. I love speaking to you. I appreciate all the DMs that I get when you do hear like a gold nugget that really resonated with you. And please share those with me if you get a chance to. Thank you all for being here. Keep moving. 2 claps on 2. 1, 2.